The WWF, what the world is watching. Turn it on and rip the knob off.
Guys, and welcome back to the Wrestling Memory Grenade, now at episode 180, as we begin February TV for 1989 in the World Wrestling Federation here this week. I am Ray Russell, and we are coming hot off the heels of the February 3rd, 89 edition of The Main Event, featuring the explosion of the Mega Powers, Randy Savage seeing lust in the eyes of Hulk Hogan, the attack backstage after the matchup against the Twin Towers. We also saw the $1 Million Man Ted Dibiase secure a victory over the mighty Hercules. Maybe not the cleanest of wins, but Dibiase seems to have won that feud. Hercules, though, keeps his freedom, and he's going to move on to feud with now the Heenan family. A little more revenge for the mighty one in the future, but the real big story coming out of that event was the main event. The Mega Powers exploding before our eyes in the ring and behind the scenes, and poor Miss Elizabeth, boy, I hope she got hazard pay after taking that bump from Randy Savage, landing on top of her on the floor and then tossing her across the first aid room later on when he was going after the Hulkster. So I'm sure we're going to talk a whole lot more about that in the weeks and months to come here on the WWF television programming leading into WrestleMania 5. But right now, guys, like I said, we're kicking off the weekend of events, and it all starts with the February 4th edition of the WWF's Superstars of Wrestling. All right, here we go. WWF Superstars for February 4th, tape back January 3rd, Huntsville, Alabama, Von Braun Civic Center. And of course, it's Vince McMahon, Jesse Ventura on the call as we head off to the ring to see the reigning Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, taking on Dale Veazey. And as the action begins, it's all Warrior Man in control of the future Lieutenant James Earl Wright of the State Patrol. Meanwhile, on commentary, Vince McMahon, Jesse Ventura continuing to push the Warrior Rick Rude feud, talking about the recent superpose down at the Royal Rumble and beyond. These guys are going to have to step in the ring one-on-one at some point. At this point in the match, we also get an insert promo from Ravishing Rick, who's ready to challenge the Warrior anytime, any place for that IC title. Meanwhile, in the ring, Warrior going to pitch Dale Veazey out to the floor, but kindly drag him back inside, dump him over the top rope, and set him up for the big gorilla press drop and the big splash. The combo getting the win, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Your winner, the IC champion, the Ultimate Warrior. As we then roll off to Update and Mean Gene Okerlund talking about the battle for the crown coming out of the Royal Rumble. Of course, it was the former King, Harley Race, taking on King Haku. We actually see the final 2 minutes of the matchup shown here on Superstars. Haku getting the clean win with the thrust kick to the face. Does it every time, and boy, what a kick it was. Straight into the jaw of Harley Race. Very believable finish, as we now have one true king of the World Wrestling Federation. The irony here, they were promoting the Coliseum video release of the Royal Rumble while showing this match. However, this match, nowhere to be found on the Coliseum video. We also get a quick promo here from Bobby Heenan and the King Haku. Bobby once again announcing there is now truly only one king, and long live the king, King Haku. And as we go back to ringside, getting ready for the next matchup, and we'll get to that in just a minute, we get our first discussion of what happened the night prior on the main event between the Mega Powers. Jesse Ventura says he saw it coming all along. He told us back at Survivor Series. Hulk Hogan's lust for Elizabeth. Vince McMahon then alluding back to WrestleMania 4. As I recall it, pal, it was Hulk Hogan who helped Randy Savage win the WWF title, and there it is, pal. Saw that coming. Vince McMahon basically crediting Hulk Hogan for Randy Savage's title win. And this is pretty risky commentary, sliding this into the show that was produced, taped, and sent out to TV markets before the live main event happened the prior night. Basically having faith that the story would fall into place as they would hope live on NBC. Now, the discussion remains very vague here, so they do handle it wisely, as you can't really ignore what went down the Friday night before. Fans at home would be confused why there's no mention of what they just saw last night. It's a split of that magnitude. And I'm sure we'll go much deeper into this next week on TV when they can actually show some of the footage to play along with it. But we do have a match in the ring as well, feature match of sorts. The Hitman, Bret Hart, going into singles competition against Dangerous Danny Davis. And Danny Davis back alongside him is manager Jimmy Hart here. And I say feature match for February sweeps. Though not as big as the May or November sweeps, they do happen quarterly. In February, one of those months. And so we get some of these random quote-unquote feature matches here. The Hitman controlling his former stablemate early on, Dangerous Danny, but Davis bails to take a breather. And at this point in the match, we also get an insert promo from the Hitman, Bret Hart dedicating this match to the Honky Tonk Man, another former stablemate of his. The Hitman states he's coming for Honky Tonk. Of course, looking for revenge is Bret Hart after the guitar shot he took from HTM, the former IC champion. In the ring, Dangerous Danny going to regroup into the ring, taking control of Bret Hart, stomping Bret down to the mat. Jimmy Hart even getting in some cheap shots as well on the outside. But the Hitman going to recover, hammering down Dangerous Danny, landing a nice inverted atomic drop, followed by a backbreaker, setting up for the pile driver finisher. It connects, and the Hitman gets the win. Match goes 3 minutes and 6 seconds. And then we're not done yet. Post-match, by the time referee Joey Marella makes the 3 count, Jimmy Hart is already in the ring, kicking and stomping on the Hitman. But Bret Hart immediately going to grab Jimmy by his legs, takes him down, sends him fleeing, chasing off the former manager. Jimmy Hart out of there unscathed for the time being. The Hitman looking to get his hands on his former manager, no doubt about it, but he's going to live to manage another day. Side note, though, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last time we see Jimmy Hart with Danny Davis. Jimmy technically abandoned Davis right around Survivor Series time, but they put them back together here briefly at the beginning of 1989 for TV and house show promo purposes. But Danny's time as a wrestler is soon coming to an end. Now, as for this match, nothing but kicks and stomps from Dangerous Danny while he was on the offense in what was technically a glorified squash. Did somebody say technical? Close enough. We go off now to the event center. Sean Mooney standing by. We're going to hear from the likes of the Brainbusters and manager Bobby Heenan. We're also going to hear from Rick Martel.
And we are back. It has been nearly a year since Rick Martel was put out of action by Axe and Smash of Demolition. Most thought it would be permanently, but he battled back, working in the gym, and he is now returning to the ring to find the experts. And right now, Rick Martel is standing by with comments.
You know, a lot of people are saying that I'm very foolish for coming back to wrestling against doctors' orders, when those doctors tell me to stay away from wrestling. But you know, in the sport of wrestling, a lot of people have managers like Bobby Heenan, Slick, and so on. But I have a lot of managers. I have a lot of them. I have thousands of them. The fans, yes, the wrestling fans, they're behind me. They support me, and that's all that matters to me. They approve of my coming back to wrestling. So I'm going to show them that I earned that support, that I work hard for that support. I feel great right now. I'm in great shape. I know it's going to be tough out there, but I didn't get back by taking the easy way. Yes, sir, I feel great. And now I'm going to show to everybody that Rick Martel is back for good.
Comments from Rick Martel. If you have seen him as of late, you would know he is in excellent physical condition. He is ready for this return. In tag team action, the Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, one tough tag team. Right now, they're standing by with Bobby Heenan.
You know, I said I was going to have some gold. I said I was going to manage the World Tag Team Champions. You think I'm lying? Look at the product I have here. I told you, and I didn't lie.
You know, the very best manager in all of professional wrestling, Bobby the Brain Heenan, he finally set foot and saw a team that was worthy of him being their manager. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, the Brain Busters, the best tag team in professional wrestling. You got all the strength of a bear or a bull, and all the speed and the quickness of a gazelle, and nobody can handle that. They've always called us overachievers. They said, how do they reach their eventual ends? We can't figure it out. Well, what it's called, we're called sacrifice. Human sacrifice, if you will. He'll sacrifice me, I'll sacrifice him to reach the eventual goal.
At times, it is tough to swallow the words of Bobby the Brain Heenan, but he did say he would have a devastating tag team joining the Heenan family. And he certainly has that. In the Brain Busters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, they are a tag team to keep your eye on here in the World Wrestling Federation.
All right, Rick Martel back in action here in the World Wrestling Federation. Meanwhile, the Brain Busters, they have the Rockers on their mind, but they also have those tag team title belts. Arn and Tully coming for every team out there. No discrimination there by the Heenan family and the Brain Busters. As Stridex presents the Great Wipeout of the week, featuring the tag team champion Demolition, delivering their decapitation maneuver, Stridex, Great Wipeout. And then it's back to the ring for the Big Boss Man with the manager, Doctor of Style Slick. We saw the Twin Towers in action at the main event this week. Boss Man going solo here on Superstars, taking on Rick Allen. Off topic here for a moment. We had a local DJ back in the 90s, and maybe he kicked around longer than that, but we had a local DJ here by the name of Rick Allen, and that's how he talks. So every time I see that name, that's how I want to say it. So if Rick Allen ever appears on WWF programming in the future and you hear me do that voice, now you know why. But we continue on. Big Boss Man taking on Rick Allen. And while the Boss Man destroys Allen here, the conversation on commentary goes back to the Mega Power storyline. Going to dominate most of the TV programming, honestly, this weekend. No mention of what happened at the main event other than the Mega Powers did indeed split. Both men sharing backstory of their friendship. Vince McMahon, of course, seeing it as a glowing friendship. Jesse Ventura stating he knew all along there were issues, a rift in the Mega Powers. McMahon promising footage of that matchup right here next week. The issues between the Mega Powers from the main event. Stay tuned for that, guys. As it's back to the action here, Boss Man putting Allen away 2 minutes, 13 seconds with the Boss Man Slam. Post-match, BBM going to handcuff Allen to the top rope. Allen trying to run away, but there's nowhere to go. Going to eat the nightstick as we close out the segment. A quick WrestleMania 5 ad coming April 2 to Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino. Be there. Then it's back to the ring for the Red Rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Terry Taylor out to take on Craig Bowman. And there it is. That Rooster music and a Rooster strut on his way to the ring. But no red hair dye yet. But it's a-coming, guys. Vince McMahon says he really digs the music.
Get down and funky, pal.
We get an insert promo here during the matchup from Bobby Heenan and the Brooklyn Brawler. The Brain stating, you're going to know the Brawler well. The Red Rooster knows him already. Heenan and the Brawler have big plans for Terry Taylor in the future days here. Don't turn your back, Terry Taylor. Pretty basic matchup here from the Rooster. Bowman gets a few shots in late, but charges right into a Rooster boot in the corner. We even get a small Rooster chant from the fans around ringside. Patented Terry Taylor jawbreaker going to set up for a stun gun. Really cool looking stun gun there. And the cock of the walk. Terry Taylor still using the Scorpion Deathlock at this point to get the win. 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And as the music plays Terry Taylor out of the ring, Vince McMahon quips,
Yeah, listen to that crow.
Vince McMahon, a big proponent of the Red Rooster, at least here this week, it would seem. As we continue on, another matchup. Well, if you like Terry Taylor's music, you're going to love this one. It's the All-American Boys theme, playing in the fabulous Rougeau brothers. Manager Jimmy Hart. Their opponents this week, David Studemeyer and Mark Bowe. Now, we heard the theme song on Wrestling Challenge, but now it's the Superstars debut of All-American Boys, and I can't get enough of it. Mark Bowe, one of the opponents here for the Rougeaus, as in Strongbow, the adopted son of one Chief J. Strongbow, will soon be renamed Mark Young. Mark Bowe rocking his Stars and Stripes trunks here, but no breakdancing as of yet from the young guy. he's going to wind up actually taking his talents over to the NWA briefly before returning here later in 89. Again, as I said, is Mark Young. Now, as the match gets going, we get an insert promo from Jimmy Hart promoting the new hit song, All American Boys, written and sang by the Rougeau brothers themselves, soon to be a #1 hit, baby. Jacques Rougeau showing off early on, laying down and performing multiple kip-ups, daring Mark Bowe to try the same thing. And Mark Bowe does, successfully. Twice, 2 kip-ups from Mark Bowe. Jacques Rougeau says, show me that again. Do that again. And of course, as Mark kips up for the 3rd time, it's straight into a Jacques clothesline. Great timing. Awesome spot there from Jacques Rougeau. A guy kipping up directly into a clothesline. You got to love the momentum there. Stoudemire soon tags in, and it's Jacques with a dropkick straight to the face before the Rougeau bomb gets the win. 2 minutes and 28 seconds. As we go off now to the Brother Love show this week. Brother Love's featured guest, Jake the Snake Roberts. Brother going to take us back to the recent appearance of one Andre the Giant on his show, where Love says he proved that Andre is not afraid of snakes, or anything else for that matter. Andre has been cured, so says Brother Love. Well, Jake says he knows Brother pretty well. He knows Love also likes to hang around with serpents. And so Jake slowly begins to take Damien out of the bag. Brother Love going to run off like a thief in the night as Jake warns, the trouble is, brother, when you play with serpents, sooner or later, you're going to get bit. That didn't work too well this week for Brother Love as they continue to tell the story of Jake Roberts and Andre the Giant. We go back to the ring for, well, another feature match, I guess you could call it. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, successful, coming out of that win over the mighty Hercules. This week taking on Sam Houston in the ring. Of course, bodyguard Virgil ringside. Before the action gets too hot and heavy, we get an insert promo here from Big John Studd, who warns DiBiase, who claims he can buy anyone or anything. Studd telling DiBiase, put your money where your mouth is. Step in the ring with me, and he, Studd, will show the $1 Million Man how he can stretch a dollar. Big John Studd wandering aimlessly, it would seem, after winning the Royal Rumble match. No real clear-cut, definitive future for Big John Studd at this point. He's got words for the Heenan family, King Haku, Andre the Giant, now the $1 Million Man, the last guy eliminated from the Rumble, and of course currently working with Akeem as well on the house shows. So John Studd throwing his weight around, and even comments there for Ted DiBiase. And hey, Sam Houston even gets an entrance here. How about that? It was only so DiBiase could attack him, though. Sam Houston trying to get in the ring. DiBiase not going to allow it. Working over Samuel. Nice stiff clothesline as Houston can't even get his chaps off his ass. Teddy going to pitch Houston to the floor, finally allowing Sam time to remove his entrance gear. Then going to suplex Sam back inside to continue the action. Houston going to make a comeback with a pair of surprise near pinfalls, but DiBiase right back on top with a gut-wrench suplex and a pair of falling fist drops. God, I love those. Houston surprising DiBiase again, coming off the ropes with a big crossbody for 2 count. Atomic drop by Sam, followed by a pair of drop kicks. DiBiase now in trouble. Sam looking for a leapfrog as he's coming off the ropes, but he's caught in midair. DiBiase turning Sam's leapfrog into a Mad Dog power slam. Wow. Very impressive. DiBiase gets the win. 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Don't see that every week. Ted DiBiase using a page out of the old Buzz Sawyer playbook there. Looked really cool. Now, post-match, Virgil distracting the referee while DiBiase placing Sam in the $1 Million Dream. Jesse Ventura doesn't understand why Houston wouldn't want to go to sleep, because then he'll be paid. Of course, there it is. Sam Houston gets paid, a $100 bill stuffed down his throat. So if you thought Sam Houston getting an entrance meant something here, getting the jobber treatment with the money in the mouth sure took any of that away pretty quickly. Nevertheless, fun TV match, and I think they saved face a little bit here. Houston doing the job to the power slam rather than the $1 Million Dream, and a great finish there for Ted Dibiase as we get another WrestleMania 5 ad, this time complete with ticket information. You can get your tickets today as we continue on. Superstars back to the ring. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, the Rockers, taking on Dusty Wolf and Bob Blake. Very interesting. They put Blake back with the Rockers again. Of course, last time he teamed with Dale Veazey, his current partner on the territories, or what's left of him at this point. Dale Veazey, of course, earlier wrestled the Ultimate Warrior. Blake back out here, this time teaming with Dusty Wolf. We do get an insert promo at this time from several of the female fans of the Rockers. One girl even says that she will never wash her hand again after touching their bodies. Yeesh. For some reason, Vince McMahon eats it up. Yeah, rocker sweat, pal. I love it. Ha ha! Especially that Shawn Michaels fellow. And as you might suspect, great timing, great double team moves here from the Rockers, who are in fact tag team specialists. Woo! Stereo Samoan drops by Shawn and Marty. Then Michaels going to climb to the top rope, leap off the shoulders of Marty Jannetty, flying fist drop on a standing Dusty Wolf. One San Antonian to another. Shawn Michaels going to get the win there, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. As we roll off now to the event center with Sean Mooney. Going to hear from the likes of the tag team champions Demolition, as well as the African Dream Akeem and his manager, Slick.
Welcome back. The World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, Axe and Smash of Demolition. They have persevered. No longer do they have their manager, Mr. Fuji, yet they are still the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, and they plan to remain that way. Right now, standing by with comments, are Axe and Smash of Demolition.
Ever since we won these tag team belts, Smash, we've had open contracts. We might have to wrestle the Rougeos, the Bolsheviks, the Brainbusters. It doesn't matter. We put our name on a contract. We'll fight to keep these championship belts. But back in our mind, we've had one thing, one man to worry about, right?
And that's the Stooge, the Feuds, and your powers of pain. Well, Feuds, bring your men on, because you know Axe and you know Smash. You're the one that trained us. You're the one that made us bad. And you know something? We love it because we're gonna beat up everybody.
Get the story straight, Stooge. You left us. You double-crossed us, but we'll get you back.
Axe and Smash of Demolition, you heard the words of the tag team champions. They have an open contract for all challengers. Akeem, 457 pounds. Right now, he's standing by with his manager, the Doctor of Style, Slick.
You know, the word is out now for all you bad boys out there in the World Wrestling Federation. There's a new sheriff in town. The big brother from Africa, you understand? The deepest, darkest part of it. He's here. His impact has been felt in the World Wrestling Federation. The man is on a mission to rescue the World Heavyweight Championship out of the hand of that blithering idiot, Macho Man Randy Savage. Right, homeboy?
Yo, brother, you know it ain't that he's just a blithering idiot. He's a Caucasian blithering idiot. And my people don't like that. And I'm going to be the first black heavyweight champions of the world.
And Elizabeth, you're going to be the first female manager to get slapped right in the mouth if you open it during any match this man ever has with the Macho Man.
Well, joined by his manager, the Doctor of Style, Slick, the architect behind the transition of Akeem, the man who likes to be known as the African Dream. And he plans to be a nightmare for all his future opponents here in the World Wrestling Federation.
Demolition taking on all comers. And of course, revenge on their mind for Feuds the Stooge and his powers of pain. Meanwhile, Akeem says people are looking at him to be the first ever black heavyweight champion of the world. There it is, guys. I know he did it on Arsenio. I didn't realize he did it here in the Event Center promos. Akeem, the first black heavyweight champion. Now, you know, you can be an African-American, technically, and still be Caucasian, Akeem, but to refer to yourself as black, that's a whole new level. As we conclude this week's episode of Superstars, we learn finally next week, for the first time since the Royal Rumble, Big John Studd in handicap action. Then from there, Tito Santana going to be here. Arriba! Brutus the Barber Beefcake, the Honky Tonk Man, Brother Love and his guests next week, Bobby the Brain Heenan and his Brooklyn Brawler. Plus, we're going to take a look into the meltdown of the Mega Powers and feature matchup, listen to this one, Katie Bar the Door, Luke and Butch the Bushwhackers stepping in the ring right here on TV against a slickless Bolsheviks.
Як не божевайте, товариші. Bushwhacker, next week right here, you will get Russian justice. Remember, you're going down.
Whoa!
Yay!
You know, Cousin Luke, the Bolsheviks have been running down the U.S. bloody A.
Right,
and running down the people. We're right here, Cousin Luke. Next week, we're going to meet the Bolsheviks, and we're going to take care of them bushwhacker style for the U.S. bloody A. Whoa!
Well, the Russians, Nikolai Volkov, Boris Zhukov, sound ready for their big matchup next week right here against the newcomers, the Bushwhackers. You don't want to miss that one. Well, it was indeed quarterly sweeps, not the big ones in May or November, as I said, but we do get many competitive matches. The Hitman against Dangerous Danny Davis, the $1 Million Man against Sam Houston. But the entire episode made mention of the Mega Powers meltdown from the prior night. And of course, this was put together before the live event aired, so we'll have to wait until next week for footage and the follow-up. Imagine if this aired and they couldn't have gone through with the angle for some reason at the main event. Holy shit. Talk about a disaster, pal. Luckily, everything went off without a hitch. And as stated, we'll be talking about that a lot more, not only on this episode, but for episodes to come. And right now, we're going to go off to a quick WrestleCopia timeout. On the other side, we're going to be looking at Wrestling Challenge.
This is Wrestling Nostalgia, the podcast that dives into wrestling history. Hey, wrestling fans, I'm Dave Dynasty, and if you enjoy podcasts that are knowledgeable and history-driven, then Wrestling Nostalgia is for you. With great guests and fun interviews, there are over 200 episodes in our archives. We chat with several first-time guests and often cover topics not discussed on other podcasts. Look up Wrestling Nostalgia on your favorite podcast platform and visit all of our links at linktree/WrestlePod. That is linktr.ee/RASSLEPOD. And remember, wherever you go, whatever you do, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.
Hey guys, Ray Russell back to talk to you about all the new and exciting audio and video podcasts we've been putting together over at patreon.com/WrestleCopia. As a self-funded brand, this entire ship is powered by our patrons. It's your support that keeps all of these wonderful shows going here at WrestleCopia. And with that said, I wanted to mention that we now have 3 major tiers with tons of Patreon-exclusive next-level content for our Patreon supporters. And it all starts with the $5 all-access tier, which gets you early access to many of the weekly podcasts, at least a dozen monthly digital downloads for your viewing and reading pleasure, the insanely detailed show notes for the Wrestling Memory Grenade Regional Wrestling, and the OG Monday Warfare podcast, plus random bonus video drops, archived old-school audio watch-alongs from the early years of the brand. And if that's not all, the brand new Patreon-exclusive podcast, Ranting Raw, featuring yours truly, Ray Russell, completely uncensored, unfiltered, with honest takes, taking patron questions and addressing various topics from throughout wrestling history. It is a whole lot of fun wrapped under the all-access tier for only $5, but things get even hotter with the VIP Superfan tier. For just a few dollars more, you get everything already mentioned in the all-access tier, plus as part of the VIP tier, a whole new slew of videocast series where it's not just your typical watch-alongs. Sure, we laugh, we have fun, but we're also breaking down the history, the context, and the why behind what you're seeing. And as part of the VIP tier, you have access to Dan Gennety's Puro Resu Academy videocast, the Coliseum videocast with co-host Gene Jackson, and the Monday Warfare videocast, Raw vs. Nitro, breaking down the history of the Monday Night War. Plus, you also get the Memphis 1985 folder of goodies and all show notes for the Puro Academy podcast and Gene's retro review show. Lots to be had there at the VIP tier. But wait, there's more. For those WrestleCopia backers who crave even more from the brand, we bring you yet another level of content fit for a warrior, because it is indeed the ultimate tier, which gives you everything from the All Access Pass, everything from the VIP tier, plus you will receive access to the big ones, video series featuring a lengthy look and discussion into some of the biggest pay-per-views, super shows, and other events from throughout wrestling history. It's also a great place to keep up with the big events that coincide with the Monday Warfare video cast and so many other big events from years gone by. You'll also have access to the newest big hit to the Copia brand. I'm talking about Regional Wrestling Unreal, the video series. Get ready for the next level in regional wrestling as we dissect territory history in video form. Watch along with us. But still, even more for your money, guys. You'll also receive access to the Treasure Chest, which offers patrons the unique opportunity to download and watch select rarities from wrestling history. And for those of you who are wondering what we offer, are contemplating joining a paid Patreon membership, or simply a curious lurker, a reminder there's a free tier at our Patreon that you can join as well. Remember, guys, no subscription, cancel any time, but I think you'll like the content that we're offering there for any budget you may have. And you can sign up right now, patreon.com/WrestleCopia, or look for the QR code where available. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia podcast network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Welcome back to the program, guys. We're off now to the February 5th edition of the WWF's Wrestling Challenge. It is Challenge, February 5th, tape back January 4th, Birmingham, Alabama, Jefferson Civic Center. Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon on commentary here as it's off to the ring for Brother Brudai. Brutus the Barber Beefcake, a little early in his entrance to make the save for the Hulkster the night before. We talked about that as part of the main event. Brother Brudai out here taking on Rusty Riddle one-on-one. And it's more of the same on Wrestling Challenge as we heard on Superstars, but this time it's Heenan and Gorilla now discussing the issues of the Mega Powers, or former Mega Powers. Oddly, though, Gorilla Monsoon on commentary sounds like he thinks this has all been a misunderstanding at this point. I guess Gorilla didn't get the memo. Monsoon making it sound like these guys can hatch it out and be back to being best friends in no time. I don't know about that one, Gorilla, but all the Barber basics in this matchup. Big backdrop sets up a sleeper hold. Going to give Beefcake the win 3 minutes and 3 seconds. And a haircut to Riddle, who already had an interesting one to begin with. Kind of a surfer dude mohawk deal. Brutus going to kindly only cut the bottom, the small back bottom of Riddle's hair so he can keep in tow with his surfer gimmick. Surfer dude! As we go off now to Special Report and Lord Alfred Hayes, complete with the entire Brother Love segment from a week or two ago, featuring Andre the Giant, Bobby Heenan discussing the hypnotist, stating that Andre was no longer in fear of snakes. And we get a quick promo here from Jake Roberts with Damien by his side. Jake, he doesn't buy that Andre's been cured. And the Snake Man referencing that he and Damien will find out the truth very soon. So again, the feud continues on. We heard from Jake on Superstars. We hear from the Andre Brother Love show on Wrestling Challenge, giving them fair time this weekend as we go back to the ring. Singles action. Going to see Greg the Hammer Valentine with manager Jimmy Hart. His opponent this week, Paul Bryant. We get an insert promo from Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who is hot on the trail of the Hammer, who tried to maim him, break his leg with the figure four. The Anvil coming for revenge. We also get more Mega Powers talk during this match, as Bobby Heenan says Elizabeth would have never been hurt if she had just stayed home and done the dishes. Very Bobby-like of him. Lazy man suplex here from the Hammer, going to lead to a series of Hammer elbow drops, setting things up for the shin guard assisted figure four leg lock, going to give the Hammer the win. Greg Valentine goes over 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Valentine and Jim Neidhart coming to a house show near you. Time to grab another beer, take a piss, do whatever. As we go off now to the event center, Sean Mooney standing by with the likes of the Powers of Pain, their manager, Mr. Fuji. We're also going to hear from Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Mooney. Few tag teams have come into the World Wrestling Federation and stirred up as much trouble, wreaked as much havoc than the tag team, the Powers of Pain, the Warlord and the Barbarian. Now they have in their camp the very devious one, Mr. Fuji, and right now all three are standing by.
Let me tell you people out there, my Powers of Pain are in terrific shape. Each one of them do about 2,000 Hindu squat without stopping. Run about 10, 15 miles with Master Fuji on their back. That's how superiorly good shape they are. They can go in a ring and go hours and hours without even taking a deep breath. Ask me. I know about that very well. I know everything because I had taught them everything in the books.
That's right, Master. We've been training, and we are bigger and strong, and we are going all the way to the top. And the Master will be behind with his wisdom.
The Powers of Pain, the Warlord and the Barbarian, now clearly under the power of Mr. Fuji. He has promised to take them to the top. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. It is time now to hear from one proud American.
Yeah, folks, I'm proud of this flag, and I'm proud of all the people. People from my family, people from your family that gave down their lives, that sacrificed to keep this flag flying free, to keep this country brave. That's why when Hacksaw Jim Duggan has a chance to raise Old Glory over my head, you better believe I'll stomp down there 110% with my heart pumping and my lungs pumping. I have only one thing in mind. That's to beat my opponent up and to raise the flag high. And folks, you know me, if things get a little bit out of hand, well, Hacksaw Jim Duggan is not too shy about grabbing my 2x4 and the stars and stripes. Tough guy? Oh!
Ho! Well, Hacksaw Jim Duggan certainly does it better than I do, and you must agree with me here. He is one proud American. He takes the American flag with him wherever he goes, and he is going to fight for the American way. He is one true superstar here in the World Wrestling Federation.
Well, the Hacker continuing to put over the USA tough guy. Powers of Pain, of course, coming for Demolition and those tag team titles. Then it's back to the ring. Going to see Tito Santana in action, taking on Tony Burton. And a perfect matchup here to continue to discuss the Mega Powers, because after a drop kick early on, it's Tito with the usual offense, including lots of arm work on a job guy. Finally, though, Santana landing a backdrop, setting him up for the big flying forearm. And what a forearm it was. Santana going over. Arriba! 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And the action just keeps going on. The Brooklyn Brawler making his Wrestling Challenge debut in that gimmick with Bobby Heenan in his corner. Brawler's opponent this week, David Studemeyer. So Heenan ringside, which means Gorilla rolling solo once again. We get an insert promo during this matchup from the Red Rooster, who almost feels sorry for the Brawler being stuck with the Weasel. Almost. Red Rooster coming for both men, as the Brawler, still without his soon-to-be familiar attire, in black trunks out here, shaved chest, tanned, clearly on the medicine, Baba. Mike McGurk announcing the Brawler as Brooklyn Brawler Steve Lombardi. And as the bell sounds, total dominance once again in the Brawler's second appearance in the ring on TV, and you got to showcase him. Showcase that he's moved up the ranks. Makes complete sense here. So they give his opponent no offense. Basic heel offense from Steve Lombardi, however, cheating, shortcuts, tossing Studemeyer into a table at ringside at one point. Bringing the aggression here is the Brooklyn Brawler. Gorilla Monsoon noticing that Bobby Heenan doesn't scream at the Brooklyn Brawler like he did the Red Rooster, letting him do his own thing. in the ring. And a middle rope butt drop, and holy shit on the throat, maybe the face, the chin of Studemeyer here. My God, how he got up from this, I don't know. Brawler going to get the win, 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Flying whoopee cushion, if you will, butt drop from that middle rope, and just complete ass to the throat, the face of Studemeyer. Did not break that fall at all. Very dangerous looking. No wonder he didn't keep this in his repertoire. As we go back now to the event center, Sean Mooney standing by. We're going to hear from the Fabulous Rougeaus and manager Jimmy Hart. We're also going to hear from Slick and the Big Boss Man.
And we are back. There is one individual here in the World Wrestling Federation who lives by his own set of laws. He is a former prison guard from Cobb County, Georgia. He has a nightstick and handcuffs. You know who I'm talking about. He's the Big Boss Man. Well, right now, that man is standing by with his manager, the Doctor of Style, Slick.
You know, Big Boss Man, brother, I want to shake your hand because, you know, I'm so proud to have you as a member of my prestigious stable. And, you know, you're everything that I thought you would be and just that much more. You've made the greatest impact in the World Wrestling Federation than any other grappler in its history. And you know what, brother? I predict nothing but greatness for you in the future and the World's Heavyweight Championship.
Slickster, I want to tell all the scum out there, Hogan fans, a little secret. What we did to him on Brother Love was premeditated, pre-planned by Slickster and I. Everything we do has got a purpose, and I want everyone to know out there that you're looking at the baddest man on Cell Block D.
Well, the Big Boss Man, as of late, he has been steamrolling his way through the World Wrestling Federation, but he has hit a wall recently in the form of Hulk Hogan. Tag team competition, the Fabulous Rougeau brothers, now United States residents. They're standing by with Jimmy Hart.
You know, it was the greatest day of my life when the Fabulous Rougeau brothers walked into it. I'm so proud of you guys.
That's right. We're all American boys.
You know what's great about all this is the future looks good. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And you know why? Because they took two prospects from up north of the border and they said, please come and move to the United States and be our neighbors. You're the greatest thing in the world.
Jimmy, you've been fabulous for us. I mean, a brand new record. A brand new record. You found us a beautiful house in Memphis and a lot of money coming in. Thanks to you, Jimmy. Jimmy.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
You're the greatest. No, guys, you're the greatest.
Well, the Big Boss Man in tag team action with his partner Akeem, the Twin Towers, or in solo, currently feuding with Hulk Hogan on the house shows. The Boss Man ready for anyone. The Fabulous Rougeaus, of course, brand new music, all American boys. And now it appears, as of late, they have their eyes set on Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers. Don't you just hate when foreigners come in and take our jobs? Jacques and Raymond, you got to love the characters there. The hypocrisy of it all. The Rougeau brothers just moved to Memphis, Tennessee from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Jacques and Raymond Rougeau, something to behold as we go back to the ring for the mighty Hercules. Going to try to go back to his winning ways here, taking on Tommy Causey. As we get an insert promo from the Mighty One, and with the Ted DiBiase feud now behind him, Hercules says he's coming for Bobby Heenan and his entire family, revenge for selling him up the river. Hercules coming for the brain. Nice big clothesline, setting Causey up. Hercules going to deliver that torture rack backbreaker, getting the submission win, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Looks like Hercules has the Heenan family on his mind now, most specifically King Haku. As we go up to special interview time, Mean Gene Okerlund up on the platform, and he's bringing out this week Outlaw Ron Bass. Well, that's interesting. The Outlaw out here talking his recent haircut, courtesy of Brutus Beefcake on Saturday night's main event. Ron Bass refusing to remove his hat here, taking us back through the storylines, the feud, going back to the summer of '88. Brutus Beefcake, of course, cutting up Miss Betsy in his cowboy hat. Outlaw's revenge, cutting up the barber's face, leading into SummerSlam. Ron Bass here in the promo says he's never been made a fool of a day in his life, and it won't start now, implying revenge on the barber. Apparently 5 months of this shit wasn't enough. Lucky for us, and Beefcake, it will be. Ron Bass going to be gone from the company in about 6 weeks' time off the house shows. So very peculiar they gave him this interview time here. It feels like his release was a little abrupt. As we continue on tag team action in the ring now, Arn and Tully, the Brainbusters, are out here. Bobby Heenan back to ringside. Gorilla on solo once again. The Brainbusters' opponent this week, Mark Bow, that's Mark Strongbow, if you will, and Brian Costello. We get an insert promo here from Sean and Marty, the Rockers, who plan to work their way through the Brainbusters. Simply use them as stepping stones. Wow. On to bigger things for the Rockers here. Sean and Marty better not look past Arn and Tully, I'll tell you that much. Mark Bow going to try and surprise the Busters early on, attempt a reverse rolling cradle on Arn. Dropkick lands on Tully Blanchard, but Arn sidestepping a Mark Bow dropkick attempt, and the Busters take control in their corner. Bow with another surprise reverse flying sunset flip off the top rope on Tully at one point, but a tag to Costello sees Blanchard right back on top. And Arn Anderson in, delivering that spine buster of his, and the Busters continue their dominance, luring the illegal opponent Mark Bow into the ring to distract the referee. Tully spitting at Mark Bow in this instance to bring him in, while behind the ref's back, the Busters once again deliver that spike pile driver. Costello down and out, the Brainbusters going over 3 minutes, 9 seconds. Great tag team work here from Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard as we get another one of those quick Big John Studd promos, this time specifically calling out Akeem. It was Ted DiBiase on Superstars, Akeem here on Wrestling Challenge. And it happens a lot around this time. If you have the opportunity to watch one of their matches, Akeem versus John Studd, don't do it. Talk about a guy with zero charisma. It's like John Studd's back, but he doesn't want to be here. Going through the motions here in this promo, and even less motion in the ring. Your winner of the 1989 Royal Rumble, folks, Big John Studd, now coming for Akeem. If you like looking at two behemoths getting it on, this still might not be for you because it is not pretty. As we continue on, one more match this week here on Wrestling Challenge. Bad News Brown taking on Reno Riggins. Bad News attacking straight away, per the usual. Total beatdown on Riggins, delivering the Ghetto Blaster. Finishing him off, foot on the chest, gets the win. Bad News goes over 2 minutes, 4 seconds. And Brown still working Randy Savage, who is also now a heel on many of the house shows upcoming in the month of February and even maybe into March. Street fights, even cage matches between Bad News and Randy Savage, with many fans reporting cheering for Bad News Brown, a heel macho man, and I won't say a babyface Bad News, but the lesser of two evils, right now based on the story at the main event. Can you imagine that? And that actually happens here this weekend on many house shows, February 4th and 5th, including right here at the Richfield Coliseum. A thing to behold. As we go back one last time to the event center this week, Sean Mooney standing by. Going to hear from Luke and Butch, the Bushwhackers, and Mr. Perfect.
Welcome back. With all the talent here in the World Wrestling Federation, can you imagine a wrestler claiming that he is absolutely perfect? Well, there is a man here in the WWF who claims to be just that. Absolutely flawless, does absolutely nothing wrong. His name is Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, and right now he is standing by with perfect comments.
When you talk about all the superstars of the World Wrestling Federation, there's one man that stands tall and stands ahead of everyone else. And that's Mr. Perfect. And Mr. Perfect is feeling better than he's ever felt before. I'm sharper than I've ever been. I'm like a double-bladed axe, and I'm zigging and I'm zagging my way through the World Wrestling Federation. And that goes for Hulk Hogan. That goes for Randy Macho Man Savage. That goes for the Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake Roberts. It doesn't matter. I'm going to slice and I'm going to dice my way to the top. For this is the year of perfection for Mr. Perfect, and each and every one of my opponents, they'll all know what I'm talking about when it's all over. For I am Mr. Perfect, and I enjoy everything I do in the wrestling ring, and don't anybody ever forget it.
Well, as to whether the comments of Mr. Perfect there were perfect, it's up to you to decide. But thus far, he has been undefeated here in the WWF. A flawless record. The Bushwhackers, the new tag team here in the World Wrestling Federation. Let's hear from Luke and Butch.
Wow! Yeah! You know, Cousin Luke,
what's that, Cousin
I think 1989 is going to be the greatest year ever!
I can smell excitement in the air!
Excitement, Cousin Luke! It's going to be the year of the Bushwhackers!
The Bushwhackers year!
And not only are we in the greatest country, the USA, meeting the great American people, we get to meet and wrestle the best wrestlers in the world today! That's Cousin Luke! And when the going gets tough, the Bushwhackers get going!
Yes,
Mr. Perfect going to have a perfect 1989. Luke and Butch taking on all comers, but specifically the Rougeau brothers around the corner. As next week here on Wrestling Challenge, we learn we're going to see the one and only Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect in the ring, as well as the Blue Blazer, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The fabulous Rougeau brothers will be here. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, the Rockers. A special interview with the Red Rooster. Can't wait for that. And the Macho Man Randy Savage has comments on the Mega Power Meltdown. Lots of good stuff coming here next week on Wrestling Challenge. And with the Royal Rumble and main event in the rear view, it's now full speed ahead on the road to WrestleMania 5. And I think we can already see what the main event will be. But more to come in the weeks to come here. February 89 just getting started. We do have one more piece of business to discuss. That is the February 6th edition of Primetime Wrestling, hosted, as always, by Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. This is actually part 2 of their time in Tucson. Remember at the old Wild West set there in Tucson, Bobby taking various bumps and things for this movie he's contracted to play a part in. And it doesn't end there. More comedy ensues throughout this 2-hour edition of Primetime. Bobby lastly taking a bump, if you will, off the top of one of the buildings there. Don't worry, got up, dusted himself off. Bobby's okay, guys. But a fun little bump there, fun comedy spot. Bobby Heenan ending the show, quitting, walking away from his time in Tucson. We have one exclusive match to talk about. It was taped at a house show up in Hamilton at Cops Coliseum in Canada. January 16th was the date, the day after the Royal Rumble. Listen to this one. Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig, stepping in the ring with Rick Martel. A dream match for me happening right here. Martel just returning to the company, battling Mr. Perfect, and these guys going to battle to what they'd bill as a 20-minute time limit draw. The match does go roughly 18 minutes. So some fun stuff there from Hennig and Martel, two former AWA World Heavyweight Champions, getting it on here on Primetime Wrestling. And that's going to wrap it up here this week, guys. We're going to continue on next week. More February WWF TV programming coming our way. Of course, the Mega Power Implosion leading to the Mega Power Explosion at WrestleMania 5. They're going to be showing us the footage next week. No doubt we're going to be hearing from the Macho Man Randy Savage, perhaps even the Hulkster. We'll have to wait and see, but definitely going to be touching more on this next week here on the Grenade and in the WWF TV programming. Stay tuned for that. I do want to encourage anybody who hasn't done so already to stop over, join the ultimate tier, patreon.com/WrestleCopia. Check out the main event as part of the big ones. Gene Jackson joins me as we cover it from beginning to end. Had a great time talking and watching the main event. Also, free for all. All you got to do is subscribe to the Patreon as a free member, and you guys can right now access the Mega Powers Explode edition of Ranting Raw and another free edition of Ranting Raw coming very soon. More on that next week. But for right now, going to wrap it up. Encourage everybody to stop over to WrestleCopia.com. Check out all the great podcasts there. And until next time, this is Ray Russell saying, from pillar to post and coast to coast, you pull the pin, I'll pick up the pieces right here on the Wrestling Memory Grenade. I'll see you next week. Don't miss it. Be there!
Yo, brother, you know it ain't that he's just a blithering idiot. He's a Caucasian blithering idiot. And my people don't like that. And I'm going to be the first black heavyweight champions of the world.
And Elizabeth, you're going to be the first female manager to get slapped right in the mouth if you open it during any match this man ever has with the Macho Man.